farted.
I don't want to be a part of it.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nerd Pub. Today, we're going to be reviewing Dunkirk for you. Me and Clay went and saw it this evening. What'd you think about it?
Personally, I was the one who suggested we go see the film. Now, I want you guys to know that we are not professional film viewers, right? We watch films on a leisurely, as a leisurely activity.
I love movies.
A lot of
I'm
people
not a professional
are
critic.
like us, okay? We're not professional film critics. So I want to start off by saying I am a fan of Christopher Nolan. Corey hates him. And
That's not true. That's not true.
Not necessarily inaccurate.
I don't like his storytelling. His cinematography is beautiful.
Okay, so at least he's somewhat accurate in what he just said. Storytelling is often fantastic. This movie is to that point, though. The storytelling is kind of confusing at moments. In what I said earlier, it was a 3-part story. I said it was an air, land, and sea story, and that necessarily wasn't always the case. But you're trying to follow 3 different parts.
So what you have is you start off from the beginning, and it sets you up with the characters you're following, and it gives you the one literally on the screen. It gives you the 1, 2, and 3 of where you're going to be in this movie, and with those 3 parts, it follows a timeline, and it tells you in that those 1, 2, and 3 how long they've been in that situation. So it gives you a time frame of 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour for each of the characters you're following. And with that, towards the end of the film, it presented a bit of a timeline issue where it gave me some confusion on how things matched up with the different stories.
Yeah, I think that overall that could have been a lot clearer in the film, and as you're watching it, and I don't want to take away from the fact that it was a well-made film.
It's a beautiful
There were
film.
different moments where I think anybody watching the film could have been a little bit confused as to the time frame they were trying to portray. Like, it wasn't always clear.
And here's something, I know you're going to disagree with me on this, that I find present in a lot of Christopher Nolan movies, and not even just his, but movies like this in general, kind of just vague war movies. I wasn't familiar with the characters at all, so it gave me even more confusion with the way they set up the timeline, because I wasn't sure which of the pilots were which, and that's why I had the confusion.
That's fair. I think when you look at this, especially this Christopher Nolan film, when you look at the different characters inside of it, none of the characters that were presented were main characters by any stretch of the imagination. They were all integral to making the story work.
Yes.
But none of them were vital
There was
to making
no
the story happen.
standout, main protagonist. You were just following these people
You were just following it as it went.
how their life went along in this time period.
In this moment, and I think a lot of people might enjoy it. You don't have that typical love story that's associated with so many films,
Right.
regardless of what the genre
Especially
is.
of a war.
Especially in this war genre, it was so stereotypically war in what the penalties are of it, and it was only that. Never go into this film expecting anything beyond what really happens in a certain scenario of a war.
And really, I will put it in high regards to this, as like I said, I love Christopher Nolan's cinematography, and he told this beautiful story. I enjoyed it beginning to end. Like I said, with the bit of confusion that it eventually got resolved, and I figured out where we were. But he told the story with very few words. It wasn't a lot of dialogue in the movie, really.
That is a good point. I think that this movie kind of plays on such little dialogue that maybe the viewer won't typically discern that from a normal movie, but it is kind of kill it.
Yeah. What I enjoyed about it, really, my favorite group of characters to follow was the characters from The Mole, which one of them was Harry Styles, and I'm not sure who the other actor was that you mainly followed in that group. But I enjoyed that story the most, I believe, more than the story following the airmen or the civilians on the boat. Just because I kind of liked they were younger, they were kids, really, in a sense. They were just kids trying to make it through this day.
That's kind of, I think, again, where Christopher Nolan succeeded with the film. He took a story, or he took a moment in history, turned it into something that we could witness, a probably relatively unknown aspect of World War II.
Yeah.
And
I had never heard of this.
Had never heard of it myself either.
Before that.
We are quote unquote millennials, and so again, pardon our ignorance, but we had never heard of this situation. It is mesmerizing when you look at the details of the entirety of the situation, where Churchill wants 35,000 people, they get over 350,000 people, and the miracle that all of that is, being able to bring in civilian ships to get as many people out as you can, the amount of loss that they had, and they allow you to kind of understand that the war was being fought with people who were never designed to be in war, because that's how war often is. If Christopher Nolan does anything right, that was it.
Just kids.
They were kids.
They were just trying to live.
Yeah,
that's all they were trying to do. They just wanted to survive that day.
And one of those characters kind of exemplifies that in the fact that
and I don't want to give any spoilers away. I don't think this is a spoiler. When they were hiding in the beached boat.
In the beached boat. That's a huge moment.
They wanted to sacrifice someone just to make it float again, and he wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah, he's not going to let that happen. That guy's not a bad person, and that this movie kind of personifies that people were just trying to survive, and how horrible it must be, and how fortunate we really are.
So I think, overall, what would you give the movie?
If we were going to give it a rating, and I don't think we have a definitive rating system.
Whatever you want to rate it at.
But I was overall satisfied with the movie. I was disappointed only in the fact that I actually didn't anticipate more of a war movie. I didn't understand the concept of the film, as I was hoping for more of a war movie. That disappointment should not rate into my factor. I would give the movie a strong B+ if we're going to rate it on that scale. From a Christopher Nolan standpoint, being a fan, a B+ it's only there because I anticipated it to be something different, only based on my lack of knowledge of the situation.
That's fair. I would agree. Since you went on a A to F school scale, I'm going to give it a strong 7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10. I'll take a C.
Yeah, that's
what I think that plays out as, is a C.
I really enjoyed the movie. Beautiful cinematography, and that's something that really I enjoy.
I don't.
The actors were all did well.
The cinematography is truly brilliant. There are moments, and we discussed directly after the film. I had brought up at least 2 moments in the film where you're watching the screen, and it is beautiful what they are able to portray in a short amount of time with what they do. And I think that is a piece of what Nolan does.
So it's certified Nerd Pub Fresh. You guys go check it out if you want. Again, leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. Check back with us next time. Later days.